Now we're on to the third video in this series about water damage, and there's 4 main areas people don't normally check. Let's get into the first one, right by the storage door. So storage doors will have a seal around them. It's a rubber seal that squishes, that keeps the water out from behind the door. It's pretty common to see some water at the bottom of the seal, but if you go out to the storage door after it rains and you see water behind that seal, that means water is getting into the wall area. So if you look behind this wall, you would see this wood is discolored. So here is normal color, down to the bottom, the wood gets darker. So that means water is seeping behind that seal and starting to rot that wall out. And yes, you can replace that seal to fix the issue. You can buy replacement seals for storage doors. They're typically a 1/2 inch seal that goes around there. You would scrape the seal off, clean the surface with some alcohol, use a new seal and go around. I'd also recommend, versus this door where the seal is on the vertical side, put your seam at the bottom. So that way if water gets into that seal, it can get out to the outside versus coming down and getting trapped inside of that seal. And now let's go over to some windows. Down at the bottom of your windows on the RV will be weep holes. They're typically small square rectangles. And what the weep holes do is when water comes down that window, it can build up towards the bottom and needs somewhere to go. So water gets behind that seal, comes out of those weep holes. But if these get plugged with dirt, debris, bugs, all that stuff, when the water comes down that window, it can't get out and it backs up and goes in over top of the frame. And I've seen floors and walls rotting out inside of slide outs or regular RV walls. And I do have a video on how to clean weep holes. I'll put a link in the description of this video. Now, let's go up on the roof. Now we're at the skylight. You would look at the skylight plastic itself and a sealant around it, looking for gaps or cracks in the sealant. So imagine underneath of this is the edge of the skylight itself. Typically that joint from the plastic to the roof will open up a little bit, needs to be resealed. Or if you look at the skylight, you'll start seeing some weathering cracks, usually around the corners or edges. Now I'll put some things on the screen so that we get some visuals. And what usually happens, over time the skylight can break down from the UV rays, the plastic breaks down. That can start the spider cracks in the skylight itself. Also, when that skylight was installed, it could have been over tightened, where the plastic was stressed and cracked, and now those stress cracks worked their way up into the skylight. So now let's look at some of the vents around the roof and some other sealant. As you're looking at your sealant, it might seem very small and minute, but this section right here is a little tiny air bubble in that sealant. When that air bubble pops, water can get underneath of that sealant, get in, come down through the roof area. So looking at your sealant, you might see some air bubbles that aren't quite popped yet, but this one here, I can pop with my fingernail. Some are bigger, some are smaller. When you find those areas, you just need to do a little spot seal, clean the area with some alcohol, put some new sealant back on top of it, so that way water can't leak down through that air bubble. Now you might be wondering, can I DIY these fixes or do I have to hire a professional? You can certainly do this work as an RV owner. Just make sure you do some research and follow all the steps. I have a few videos on changing skylights and sealant. You can definitely check those out. And of course, those links will be in the description of this video. And if you want some more helpful tips to learn about RVs, you'll want to check out the RV education page on our website. You can also sign up for weekly newsletters there to get more videos like this and tips right to your inbox.